This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Episode number 265, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode we have Mental Marky Mark. Yes, he is back, the one that wants to be a radio DJ. If you don't know who I'm talking about, go back and listen to episode number... I can't remember. It was probably about 5 or 6 episodes ago. Anyway, we talk about British problems at the hairdressers. Well, I say British problems. I think these exist everywhere. But when I write British problems on the podcast normally gets downloaded a lot more. But whatever happens, I will never be one of those teachers that says, stop saying thank you. Here are some other ways to say thank you. Cheers. I'm so grateful. Much obliged. And all of this rubbish. So yes, we talk about problems at the hairdressers, basically because I had a really shit haircut recently. And again today there is a bit of a problem with the bloody audio. This time my audio was fine, but Mental Marky Mark had a little bit of a problem. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it kind of sounds like when you listen to the radio and there's someone that calls in on their phone and they sound like they're a little bit underwater. That's what Mental Marky Mark sounds like. My audio was also slightly damaged in the process. Again, I'm not sure you're interested. If you are, send me a message. I love talking about audio and microphones, okay? I bloody love audio. And I know you do too because you listen to podcasts. And I also saw an article on The Guardian recently that said people that listen to podcasts, so us, are more curious and more likely to experience positive emotions than those that don't. This was on The Guardian, okay? Not one of those other shit websites that I find in my 5 minutes research. So just know we are cool as fuck. Okay. Anyway, here is the episode. Remember, family members have the transcripts. And speaking of the family, that is going to open again very soon. I've just been trying to get things in order, but it is opening very soon. You will hear more about that in the very near future. But here is the episode where we talk about haircuts like microphones, erections, Forest Gump, and lots more. Happy listening. Mental Marky Mark, how are you today?
Good morning, Mart. I am good. I'm good. It's a long weekend, so it's great. Got 4 days off, and the sun is shining in England. So I'm good. Good, mate.
Okay, and I'm fantastic as well. Thank you for asking. Always very nice. The 4 days off doesn't really work when you're self-employed, but I'm always fantastic and happy. As usual anyway, even though our friend the Hairdresser has left us in the lurch, which is some nice R&R vocab, like left us in the shit, let's say. We had planned a threesome, not sexual, obviously, a 3-way podcast for the first time. And then at the last minute, what happened, Mental Marky Mark?
He let us down. He sent a message on WhatsApp at 10:17. We were due to meet at 10:30. At 10:17, he said, I've got to pop out. I'm sorry, I can't make it. And by the way, I don't have my recording equipment, my microphone anyway. So
the Hairdresser is the definition of professionalism. Okay. But we're here. Okay. A little bit now of a disappointment. It's just the two of us, but okay, we're going to push through this, okay? Mental Marky Mark.
Yeah, it's okay. Like the B team is all right. You don't always have to have the best players playing.
Absolutely. And just quickly, some people last time you were on had difficulty with your name, Mental Marky Mark. Just so people know, it's mental, like a crazy person, okay? Because Mental Marky Mark is crazy, aren't you?
Yeah, I am just a crazy guy all around. And do bear in mind that name came about, I think, when I was 12 or 13.
In fact, I think maybe in school they should warn 12 or 13-year-olds, don't give yourself any stupid names, because that will come back to haunt you in 20, 30 years. So when it comes back to haunt you, it will come back and give you a problem, let's say. Come back and bite you in the arse is another one. Anyway, Mental Marky Mark, on to today's show. Do you remember how we start the show?
Sure do. Let's find out if we have any reviews.
Yeah, I know you in the past wanted to be a radio DJ, okay, but I'm in charge here, okay? We need to follow the rules. I then ask you if you think we have one, okay? You can't ask me. I know we have one. So yes, we do have a review. Although this is actually a LinkedIn review, because I've recently joined LinkedIn, and I promised this avid listener I would read this one. So this is from Martin Wegzern. As always, apologies for the pronunciation. Martin is from Poland, also in the R&R English family. And he says, Martin will bring you to the next level when it comes to understanding and speaking proper natural English. All this happens in an extraordinary manner that nobody else can offer. You will have to accept a great sense of humor, crazy stories, and a decent portion of day-to-day English. I have been prospering from Martin's services for many years now. Once you try it, you will never stop. I strongly recommend Martin as an English teacher with a passion in his blood. This is the best you can do for your English. Don't be a pussy and give it a try.
So definitely has benefited from rock and roll English. He's calling you a pussy and stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, thank you very much for that, Martin. That's much appreciated. And yeah, pussy, a kind of slang word to say someone that is not a very strong person. I didn't know pussy is allowed on LinkedIn. I wasn't sure.
No idea. Why do they censor stuff on LinkedIn?
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, great to hear it. Some R&R vocab also on LinkedIn. So thanks very much again. So on to today's show, Mental Marky Mark. So as you know, recently, in fact, after we had been out a couple of weeks ago, I was walking down the street, saw hairdressers, and thought, you know what, I'm gonna go in there, and had an absolute stinker of a haircut. So a terrible haircut. I walked in and said, I want it layered, like different lengths. And he basically just put a bowl on my head and just cut around like a Lego man, basically. So I thought we could talk about haircuts in general, okay, which may be difficult for you because you have literally had the same haircut in the 26 years that I've known you. For people that haven't seen Mental Marky Mark, I will describe his haircut. So, if you have a microphone like I've got now, and then you have that kind of like black like material on the microphone, that's basically what Mental Marky Mark has on his head and has had on his head for 26 years. Is that a good description?
Yes, it is an accurate description. And you're digging up some demons here for me, because you're taking me back to school and you're taking me back to the days when Hellraiser used to grab me by the head and shout into my hair to pretend it was a microphone. And then,
testing 1 2 3 is what I remember him shouting into your head.
And this carried on because my housemate, when I lived in Reading in England, my housemate once said, Mental Marky Mark, all your hair is pubic, all of it.
So remember, pubic hair is the hair, let's say, around your genitalia, and Mental Marky Mark just has that on his head, because normally those hairs are, we often say, short and curly. It's kind of like the ones on your head. It just seems to be the same length. I've never seen it long. I've never seen it short. It's just the same length every single day, 365 days a year. It's an incredible situation on your head that you have there. But okay, so we're talking about the hairdressers in general. In fact, I actually saw this on Facebook. It said very British problems at the hairdressers, and lots of these really resonated with me, like really hit home, let's say. So we're going to start from the start of the hair cut situation, where you have to, well, usually have your hair washed, okay? And then they always say, is the water okay? The temperature of the water. And I want to know, can you actually say no to that question? Can you actually say no? It's too, there have been times where they have burnt my head. There have been times where it's freezing cold, but every time they ask, is the temperature okay? I always say, yep, perfect. Thanks a lot.
But this is because, so I wouldn't know because and this is probably true in the way that I have a terrible haircut and you have some trendy hair. Is that I never go to a hairdresser's where they actually wash your hair first. I just go to like a barber where you pay 10 quid and they make this mess.
Right. You know what? It's my fault for choosing you to talk about haircuts, to choosing the person with the worst haircut in the world. So you've never had your hair washed by another person?
Yeah, maybe a few years ago when I had a splurge and went to a trendy hairdresser and got my hair washed before I got it cut. Yes, it was. I don't know. That sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they get it right.
They've just got a knack for getting the temperature of the water right, haven't they? So when you have a knack for something, it's like a secret talent. You just know the temperature of the water. But then again, maybe you won't know this, but what happens after this is the kind of head massage. Okay. And again, an extremely uncomfortable experience for me. I'm just there thinking, I mean, now when this happens, I think, am I allowed to be doing this? I'm a married man, and there's another woman massaging my head.
Do you prefer a male or a female hairdresser?
For the touching the head thing, because there is something sensual about that, erotic. Then I must admit, I do prefer a woman to do that. And
don't get erections in the hairdressers, Martin. You can't do that. I'm sure that you're not supposed to do that.
I'm not sure. If any hairdressers,
I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that.
They should have a sign outside the hairdresser saying "No erections." But no, luckily that has never happened to me. Probably happened when I was 15 or something like that. But I mean, just strong wind, and I got an erection when I was that age. But yeah, no, I have had a few times of a man doing it, and then again, it's uncomfortable enough someone touching me anyway. And then when a man is slowly caressing my head, I do kind of think, this is really weird. This is really weird. Yeah. But yeah, okay. So then once you've got your hair washed, that awkward part is over. And then you sit down in the chair, they look at you and say, what are we doing? And sometimes people bring in photos. I mean, do you bring in a photo of a microphone and just say, make me look like the microphone? What do you do?
I always wish I do take a photo in, because I hate getting my hair cut, because they never get it right.
Oh, I'm totally with you. Never. I mean, the situation of my hair is I get it cut and it looks shit for at least a month. Then I have a kind of couple of week period where I'm happy with it, and then it looks shit again. Yeah. And that's just the cycle of my hair, really, the life of my hair.
I have so I'm going to get my hair cut, funnily enough, tomorrow, because my wife's sister is a hairdresser, and she's a superb hairdresser.
I mean, you have to say that. You can't not say that, can you? Especially on a public podcast. She's the best. You've also just said how the hairdresser never gets it right. So apart from your wife's sister, who always gets it perfect.
She lives like 100 miles away. So obviously I don't get it cut by her very often, but if I could drive 100 miles to get my hair cut or get the train or whatever, I would. Because there's only one who can get it right. And if they move away or, they stop cutting hair, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, never go to a random hairdresser. You just walk along the high street and you think, this place will do. There's no queue.
That's
It spells
exactly
disaster.
yeah, that's exactly what I did the other day, walking along the street. Because that's the thing. I've moved back now. I need to find a new hairdresser. In fact, my first few years in Italy, I'd say my first at least 2 years, I always actually got my hair cut in England. Whilst now it's the opposite. Now I need to go to Italy to get my hair cut. Okay, so then, you sit down and then they say, can we get you anything? Do you want a drink of something? What do you do in that situation, mental Marky Mark?
Again, I'm going to use the word trendy because I lived in London for a bit, and there was they had the trendy barber shop where they'd offer you a beer, and they had a fridge of beer, like, yeah, have a beer while you get your hair cut. And it's, so at 11 a.m. that feels a bit weird. And then you go to probably a hairdresser like yours where they're like, can I get you a coffee? And I don't know. I used to think, no, I'm fine. But now I think, well, if you're charging me 30 quid to get my hair cut, yeah, I'll have a coffee as well.
I'll have everything you're offering.
Exactly. And a biscuit.
Yeah, definitely biscuits. So I actually only said yes once to that question, and they brought me a cup of tea, and then it had loads of hair in it.
Right.
I mean, it may have been my hair, but there's lots of hair flying around, isn't there, at the hairdressers? And then I was drinking hair. So then since that day, always say no to that, because I do not want to take that risk again. Of literally eating hair. And then so you sit down, and it's a long time to look at yourself in the mirror, isn't it? When you're at the hairdressers, you're kind of thinking, do I really look this bad? Because you don't really study yourself so much. But then there's that, and you think, Jesus Christ, this is bad, especially now we're older. And then obviously your hands, they put that kind of Batman cape over you. Well, I suppose not Batman, a cape over you. And then you've got your hands under there. And I always think if I start moving my hands, it kind of looks like I'm masturbating. So,
well, you already said you've got an erection, so
you need to get rid of the erection in some way.
Well, that's why you have your hands there, to make like a tent out of the cape they put on you, so you can hide the stonker you got on, the boner.
Lots of great erection vocabulary here from Mental Marky Mark. Stonker, boner, lots more as well we could share with you. But yeah, it's another awkward situation.
Do any girls listen to this podcast? They're not going to listen anymore. I'm sorry to the female.
Certainly any female hairdressers. I think they're going to have pictures of me in hairdressers now. I'm going to be banned from all of them. And then obviously once they've finished, you have the thing of they get the mirror, don't they, behind, and they show you the back of your head. And for me, it's like discovering a new world. I kind of think, when do you ever look at the back of your head? And I think, oh, Jesus, wow, what's going on back there? I'd never really considered it.
Yeah, and then when you get to, well, my age, our age, and you start seeing the beginnings of the thinning, and you start seeing your crown on your head getting a little bit less hair on it. I don't like it when they show me the back of my hair now.
Yeah, so like the crown is like that bit at the back of your head where the hair starts, let's say. It's difficult to explain. My hair loss is coming from the front, really. Yeah. So I always spend most of my time trying to just cover up the bits where, because sometimes they expose me in the hairdressers. They comb it back, and then it exposes me. I feel like a naked person. And then I quickly try and just cover up those bald patches. In fact, that's one of the things I say when they say, what are we doing? I say, well, try and keep it long, but also try and cover up these bald patches if you can. And that would be great. And then again, when they show you that with the mirror and they say, everything okay? What can you say? Yep. In your mind, you're saying, what the fuck have you just done to me? But you say, no, brilliant. Thanks a lot. Absolutely brilliant. I love it.
And you have to be careful in getting in conversations, because if sometimes they ask you what to do, what do you do for a living or anything like that, I just don't tell them, because if I ever tell, I mentioned them in the military, some hairdressers assume then that you should look like Forest Gump. And they think, and they don't listen to what you want. They think, oh, he must have to have it really short. And I'm like, no, I don't have to have it really short. So why have you done this? So never tell them what you do.
like,
Maybe.
Forrest Gump. I can imagine you go into the hairdressers with a picture of Forrest Gump saying, "This is who I want to look like." my idol, Forrest Gump. And then obviously you get to the paying part, and then it's always the awkward thing, the tip. I swear as well, this place, for example, I got my hair cut the other day, was £14, and I thought they do that surely, and that they didn't even accept card. So I said, can I pay on card? They said no. So then I had to go and get some money out, and they do that. So then you say, keep the £1. They give you a £5 and you say, keep the £1. But it was such a bad haircut that I just waited. He gave me the £5, and he was expecting me to say, keep the £1 for yourself. But my hand just remained there of like, please give me that £1. I'm not giving you anything, you bastard.
Look at me. Look at me.
It's just so awkward because I've had this before of like, in Italy, obviously things were much cheaper, and paying, for example, 12, and then you think, right, okay, and you pay with 15, €3, like €3, that's more than 10%. That's crazy. That's crazy money.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pressure. And then so you've got your haircut, and then you leave the hairdressers, and then certainly for me, tell me if the same for you, you wait till you're about 20, 30 meters away before you then look into a car window or a shop window and try to restyle your hair. But you have to do it away from the hairdressers because they might see that you actually think they did a shit job.
But I don't think the hairdressers care. I don't think they care. I mean, because they must see so many people do that. I'm so blatant these days. I stand up and look in the mirror and sort it out myself.
Right, right there in front of the hairdresser, just to say like that was absolutely shit. Wow. Do you do that with your wife's sister?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Because
sure you do. Sure you do.
She cuts it in like the house, so then you just go and sort it out yourself anyway.
In fact, that's probably better because you can just go into the bathroom, lock the door. She can't see what you're doing, and then actually put it how you want. And another thing, well, certainly for me, obviously with long hair, I always say to people like, not that much off. Don't cut that much off. But I think they just love cutting, don't they, hairdressers? So they actually, you say like, just an inch, and then it's like 5 inches. And you think, oh my God, what the fuck are you doing? I
just ask the ends off now. Just take the ends off. And I also
take the end of my pubic hair off my head.
I just saw this wiry mess out.
It does seem to be the same length in every part of your head, doesn't it?
It's so cruel about my hair. So cruel. I put so much effort in, I get it cut. And even my wife says, it just looks the same. I was like, it's even after lockdown where I didn't get it cut for 6 months and then got it cut. And someone said it was the same.
Well, we'll have to put a picture of Mental Marky Mark's hair on social media so people can have it just to see this. It's been the topic of the conversation, okay? And then leave their own opinion, okay? We all want to know, does he look like a microphone? Maybe I'll put a picture of a microphone next to you, and then they can say, they can guess which one's the microphone and guess which one's you. But anyway, thanks a lot for your time, Mental Marky Mark, discussing trip to the hairdressers, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, man. See ya.
See you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was me and Mental Marky Mark talking about problems. Remember, not really British problems, but that's what I'm going to write on the episode at the hairdressers. Okay, so let's have a look at the R&R vocab. We said the Hellraiser left us in the lurch. Easy translation, left us in the shit. Mental Marky Mark also said that he got a message from the Hellraiser saying he needed to pop out. Now, to pop out is a lovely term, just to go out for a little bit. Obviously, at the time we were recording. We also spoke about Mental Marky Mark's name, which came about when he was 12 or 13. So it happened then, basically. We also said names come back to haunt you. So they come back later in life to cause you a problem. Or another way to say that is they come back and bite you in the arse. A lovely term was when we said hairdressers have a knack for getting the temperature of the water right. They have a natural ability to do so, let's say. We also spoke about people caressing your head. So when you caress someone, it's like you touch them with feeling, let's say. We also spoke about a cape. Remember, that's what Batman wears, okay? And you have to wear that when you get your hair cut. Lots of erection vocabulary, stonker, boner. And I mean, I could go on, but that's probably enough for you. We spoke about the crown of your hair as well. I'm touching mine now. You can't see that, but it comes naturally to me. It's the thing at the back of your head where, you know, where the hair goes in all different directions. It goes up, it goes down, it goes left, it goes right. That's the crown. And I spoke about my bald patches. So a patch is like an area, a big area on the front of my head, on the left and on the right, that don't have any hair, which is a shame because I do have hair in every other part of my body. Anyway, remember, all of the vocab is on the website, rockandrollenglish.com/episode 265. I will see you all very soon, people. Remember to check social media because I am going to post a picture of Mental Marky Mark and his microphone haircut. See you all very soon, but in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.